This clip is from The Buckle Bomb Show. New episodes drop every Sunday at youtube.com/bombmediaproductions. Quick jabs to the face, where we just talk about a few stories that weren't necessarily worth a whole segment. The first thing I want to do is talk about wrestling TV this week and things that stuck out to us or maybe to you. The first thing I want to talk about is the CM Punk and Dax Harwood match. My goodness, what a match this was. I made sure to watch it live, and it was the first thing on Dynamite that night. I didn't watch the rest of Dynamite live. I wasn't able to, but that match was one of the best live TV non-pay-per-view matches I've seen in a very, very long time. What did you think about this match?
I thought the match was incredible. The storytelling is
Yeah.
there. You're feeling more and more sympathetic for FTR. They're bringing those AAA titles on television now, which they haven't done the entire time they've had it, which was weird to me. But
it feels like they're starting to build up FTR. They were kind of. It felt like before, and going back and looking at some of this stuff, it felt like they were kind of, as heels, they were kind of, certainly in the WWE, the Revival were goose.
The icy hot on the balls, man.
Right, yeah. I was just thinking that too. But even in, feuds as with the Young Bucks and stuff like that when they were first brought in, they were kind of buried a little bit. Now to see them, we got rid of Tully. We're kind of turning face here, and this match helped tell that story with Dax's partner out there trying to cheer him on, but not actually interfering in the match. Okay, they're pure here. They love wrestling, and this is a great match, and all that.
Fun fact.
Firing Tully. Go ahead.
Do you know who FTR's manager in AAA is?
In AAA, no.
Vicky Guerrero.
Really?
So she's in AEW with them. We might be seeing something.
Oh, maybe. I mean, Vicky's a heel still, isn't she? I mean, it's hard to see her being a babyface, so that might end up getting dropped at some point here.
I don't think that they're going to be heel or babyface, man. I think they're going to be that vigilante straight down the line like Stone Cold was.
Well, I mean, and it might be a different thing where on AEW TV they're babyface, but when they won't have Vicky Guerrero on TV with them on AEW, but in AAA they'll still be the heel for whatever tag teams they're facing in that promotion, with Vicky Guerrero there. But there's been this rumor. And I don't know if you've seen it the last couple of weeks, and it kind of stemmed from a promo that the Young Bucks said, and one of the Jacksons, I still can't tell them apart yet, but one of the Jacksons said something in this promo with FTR in a backstage segment, said something along the lines of, "You need the best" or something like that, and everyone went out and thought, oh, he's referencing Bret Hart, the best there is. And I'm like, I didn't feel that it was a direct reference to that. But it sort of spurred on these rumors that maybe Bret Hart could come in and be a manager for FTR. If that's a big if. I think that's kind of a far out there rumor. But if that comes to pass.
Not as far out as you think.
Yeah?
Bret Hart already has history with AEW.
Yeah.
I believe it was the first pay-per-view he was at. Just recently, if you look on AEW's Spotify page, they're pushing the theme song that they made for Bret Hart for that one-off appearance. And now that the company is doing the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament and has the rights to Owen Hart's likeness, I'm just saying,
that's
not
true.
that hard to believe.
That's true, and you gotta imagine that Bret wants to be around for that. I don't know if he has any sort of Legends agreement currently with the WWE, but probably not.
No.
So, yeah, that it'd be interesting to see him on TV. Whether or not he'd want to get on the road, even just for a weekly appearance. We'll see if he's up to doing that, if he's healthy enough to do that. Hopefully he is. The next little thing I wanted to talk about here is more Seth Rollins drama on TV, leading to what we hope might happen. Which we got some more news tonight or yesterday on Twitter about. But Seth Rollins and AJ Styles had a great match on Raw that furthered the story of Seth Rollins still not having a spot at WrestleMania. What do you think of these moments in the match and how it ended in a DQ with Edge coming in and whacking AJ Styles with a chair?
I have to say, man, this Todd Phillips Joker-esque personality that we're seeing out of Seth Rollins right now is so enjoyable. The mind games, whether it was with Roman Reigns when he came out to the old Shield theme, to just the complete like loss of cognitive dissonance where, hey, I know what I'll do. I'll do what you're doing. And it's getting to this point where you're just seeing a man hit rock bottom at the lowest form of desperation. And it's a great character, but let me tell you what, I am so happy Edge clocked AJ Styles with that chair to save that match for WrestleMania. Because I don't know if I talked to you about this on the show or not. I remember how big this match is for me. I'm a huge TNA guy from back in the day. And there was a point in time where, you know, the fantasy buckers out there, champion versus champion, AJ Styles versus Edge. This is going to be pretty big. But Seth Rollins, we all know where it's going. I'm just excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm not as big. I love Seth Rollins in the ring. I think he's a great, huge talent. I'm not a fan of the way his character's been. I'm not a fan of the way his character's been. It's way too over the top for me. I like some of it. Certainly, you know, doing the Shield entrance and all that was fun, and some of the other stuff he does. But it's just way he goes for it a little too hard for me, and it's just way too much. But to further this whole not having a spot on the WrestleMania story, he did post this on Twitter, and I like that you'll see his profile picture has changed here too. Let me let me switch.
I
this
think
over.
I know the tweet you're talking about. I didn't see the pic. Yep.
But yeah, he's got this. He posted this picture of text supposedly from Vince McMahon about coming to his office tomorrow morning at 9:00. Which Adam Pearce is also in the comments here. Let's chat about this tonight.
I just love the idea that there's a possibility that Vince McMahon uses googly eyeball emojis.
But yeah, he's changed his profile picture to Vince McMahon, which is fun.
That's good shit.
But
please don't tell me this is gonna be a Vince McMahon versus Seth Rollins.
We do still have no, come on now. We do still have one night of Raw left tomorrow night before WrestleMania. Do you think with this here, do you think they'll actually maybe not debut Cody Rhodes tomorrow night, but do you think they'll actually announce him? Or do you think they'll still hold that off as a surprise for WrestleMania?
So here's what I think. And this is just me fantasy booking this out. Hopefully Cody retains the rights to his AEW theme song. The band that performed it is escaping me right now, but they also wrote Dolph Ziggler's theme and the Miz's theme and Seth Rollins' original Burn It Down theme.
Gotcha.
So with that being said, hopefully Cody still owns the rights to it because he's the one who got them to make that song for him. Because Cody's old AEW or WWE run was so long ago, you wouldn't remember what the song sounded like. That wrestling has more than one royal family plays. And then, like, you know, it just further drives home the point that Cody's going to come out, end the show. Don't even show Cody. Just let them know that's what's coming. Maybe,
yeah. Tease it for sure. You know, maybe announce that he will be there but not actually show them. And that, what you said there, that'll lead us into our next little quick jab here, was the report from WrestleVotes, and I've got it up here on Twitter. They're reporting that two very high-profile people were adamant to the boss that if or when Cody Rhodes arrives, He should be exactly what he was in AEW. Presentation, ring gear, theme music, pyro, all of that. The visual impact of the American Nightmare crossing the line is significant here. So as you're pointing out, if they can get the theme music, no smoke and mirrors theme song, which they would, I think would be a mistake to use that anyway, even if they weren't able to use this. I think this report's legit. I think it's right, wherever it's coming from. I do think it's smart of them to use as much as they can, if they can use all of it, or, Cody Rhodes has been pretty smart about keeping his copyrights.
Yep. And if you know anything about WrestleVotes, they have a phenomenal track record with reporting news or rumors that have accuracy to them. Bring Cody in, give him the whole Homelander gimmick, but really push the heel side of him this time. Man, that's going to be over like Rover within the company.
Well, he's going to get such a huge pop. He's certainly not going to be a heel for Mania. Rollins is the heel.
No, absolutely not.
But after a little bit, maybe, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, bringing in his AEW American Nightmare persona as opposed to the dashing Cody Rhodes or certainly Stardust would be what you want. What would make the biggest impact here would be bringing over his current iteration of the character that you've been watching, not just on AEW, but through the indies before that, and his progression into, if suddenly he shows up as dashing Cody Rhodes again, we're all going to roll our eyes. Oh, here's WWE doing their thing. This is going to be something, it's going to be a shot across the bow, almost like a Monday Night War deal. This is the Cody Rhodes that we've been watching for the last year, 2 years on Dynamite, is now on WWF TV.
Yeah. And, for what it's worth, everything from Bullet Club to ROH Cody to AEW Cody, that's been a character that you can get behind. God forbid he comes out in that Stardust suit at WrestleMania. But
eventually he will.
Oh,
at least for a show, they'll play it up in a story somewhere, and he'll have fun. And it'll be fun, and we'll get a kick out of it, hopefully.
Absolutely. But with that, though, the most over Cody's been is what Cody has got himself over on himself. And that's without the direction of WWE. So why would you not take the chance, have him come in as the gimmick that has him where he is today, and just let him roll with it for a little bit? You could turn him heel next night on Raw, but have him attack somebody that he used to be close with. I don't even think there's anyone in WWE anymore that he's still close with to get that progression. But at the same time, and now it's a whole new crop of wrestlers that we're going to get to see him interact with, which is another reason to be excited for it.
For sure. There's a lot of matchups that we're all going to be super excited to see, including Seth Rollins here coming up, hopefully at WrestleMania. I don't know if you saw my face while you were talking there. I was thinking about the Stardust thing, and I said, oh, yeah, they'll throw it on him at one point just for fun. I had this thought about a thing that they could do that's really stupid, which means there's a good chance they'll do it. If they were to do some sort of split personality thing, where you have the American Nightmare showing up and doing his thing, but you also have Stardust doing another thing, and it's kind of a wink to the camera, and never the two shall meet. But
shut up, because that's bad karma, and it's gonna get to somebody somewhere, and they're gonna fucking like it. It's gonna be like some weird interdimensional trip in the goddamn Rift storyline. Fuck.
They'll even do maybe they'll do like a Three Faces of Foley thing, right? You'll have Cody Rhodes with the mask, the dashing Cody Rhodes. You'll have the American Nightmare, and you'll have Stardust, and they'll all appear in a segment on screen together before the new one, before Stardust is the last one to come out. And
please, for the love of God, even
someone, the Triple H analog.
For the
Ugh.
love of God, please let him super glue a caterpillar above his lip for the Dash and Cody Rhodes photo too. No,
Oh
let's
yeah.
stop talking about this. It's now we're putting bad energy out into the world, and this is what's gonna happen.
now,
It's gonna be a downward road.
now your mind's running. Oh my God! Wait a minute. What if we do this and do this? And hey, Bruce Pritchard, we got an idea for you.
Tell Conrad, give us one of those deals while you're at it too.
All right, man. The next thing we can talk about here, Shad Gaspard, who tragically lost his life out in the water a couple of years ago, in 2020, I believe. He was out there with his son. The rescuers came up to him, take my son, save him first. And unfortunately, they were never able to get back to Shad, who lost his life. He is going to be the Warrior Award recipient here at the Hall of Fame. What do you think of this announcement and of Shad Gaspard?
So, as you know, I'm a father, and you would like to believe as a parent, any parent would do what Shad Gaspard did for his son. But the difference between me thinking it as a father, because I know how much I love my daughter, and him actually having the courage as the parent to know that this is going to be the last thing I ever do in my life and actually do it. In my opinion, I think Shad Gaspard deserves way more than the Warrior Award.
For sure.
I know this is supposed to be something in memorial to Shad Gaspard, but if you really want to memorialize him, and look, I'm an Ultimate Warrior fan, but that dude has a lot of skeletons in his closet, especially with things he said. Rename the award. Make it the Shad Gaspard Award.
I don't necessarily have a problem. He's had a lot of skeletons, and certainly some more and more have come out. Certainly the Dark Side of the Ring episode on him, which I haven't seen yet, but I know they had his ex-wife on there, and some of the things that have come out. I get that, but certainly rename it or don't. This part of the and for WWE's perspective, let's put it that way. They're talking about the character of the Ultimate Warrior, maybe not Jim Hellwig, but the character of the Ultimate Warrior that was on their screens and what he personified. That's the Warrior Award.
Well, when you do it like that,
might be parsing things, but sure, that's what this could mean. And certainly in the Hall of Fame, it's good to have this. You can debate the realness of the WWE Hall of Fame, whatever. But this has been a good thing that they've always done. Of course, starting with the kid that died of cancer. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Connor the Crusher.
Connor Michalik.
That video promo that makes me fucking cry
every time I see it. Every time I see it, yeah. Every time it comes up in my memories or whatever, yeah. But this is certainly a good thing for the Hall of Fame, and something that's good to have in it. It can, I think the last one they did in 2019, because we've had the pandemic, they haven't been doing the Warrior Award, was, if I'm not mistaken, was one of their longtime workers in the office, but who had done such good stuff. They wanted to recognize her, someone that no wrestling fan would know of, but was a longtime employee of the WWE.
What? I thought the last one was Eric LeGrand.
Maybe it was the year before, but I know they recognized a woman who worked in the office, who had set up. Who, one of the things she was doing was she set up the. And you think of John Cena and all of his work with Make-A-Wish. She was the one that set all that up, and so they let me see if I can find here real quick. But go ahead and keep talking about Shad here for a second. And
I mean, one of the things that drew me back into wrestling, because I'm not going to lie, in the beginning of the Ruthless Aggression era, much like you did, I had a little bit of a dip out with paying attention to what was going on. But then when they paired up Crime Time and John Cena for that little feud they had with JBL, where they were coming out spray painting his limo and all this awesome shit that they had them doing, I truly got back into wrestling because of that. you know, and then you look now as a whole with what JTG or now Jay the God has been doing outside of WWE, and then you had what Shad Gaspard was doing. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Bobby, but he was doing a lot of like philanthropist stuff, wasn't he?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and by all accounts, he's just one of those guys who is a stand-up of an individual as you could possibly be. And like I was saying before, man, it's one thing to say it as a parent. It's another thing to do it as a parent. This dude absolutely deserves to be immortalized by WWE. And, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, when they open up that actual physical Hall of Fame in most likely Orlando.
Hopefully,
You
right
know,
here. Yeah.
yeah. He deserves to have his own place in there for sure.
You're right, Eric LeGrand. I'm not finding the lady I was talking about. Joan London was in there, which I don't remember her getting in. Without the woman I'm talking about, maybe it was before. I remember them honoring her, but I guess it wasn't for the Warrior Award. But regardless, that's exactly what I think the Hall of Fame is good for is something like this right here. And yeah, hopefully when they do have a physical one, if it's here in Orlando or Stanford or wherever they decide to put it, it'd be, hopefully their best wing. I think you'll have your wrestlers and you'll have your contributors, and then you'll have the Warrior Award recipients, and that'll be the one that might be sometimes hard to walk through, but certainly deserving. And then we'll move on to the last quick jab here that I have, and that'll be the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, taking place not on WrestleMania, but on the SmackDown the Friday before, which it did last year as well, if you remember. What do you think of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal taking place on SmackDown rather than on the show? A Battle Royal that was designed specifically to get more people on the Mania card, and now that you have 2 nights of WrestleMania, it's not even on the card.
Well, real quick, before we go into that, I just want to say, remember when everybody was like freaking out about New Japan doing Wrestle Kingdom for 2 nights in a row?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone said WrestleMania should do that to get more people on the card. You knew back then when everybody was screaming for that, WWE was going to find a way to put more bullshit, more fluff, and more filler into a WrestleMania show. And they're still continuously screwing over so much talent. And not just talent in the WWE, keep in mind. Because WrestleMania weekend used to be massive for independents to run shows. For example, last year, WrestleMania was in Tampa, but I ain't got the scratch like that. Fortunate enough, I got to go to a couple of the indie shows that were happening around Tampa.
And that was big because that was kind of the startup of the indies again. So go to WrestleMania, because after the pandemic, the ones that survived through that, because they're not able to run shows.
Yeah.
So the ones that survived that WrestleMania weekend, at least for that weekend, were able to have a show with some fans at the very least. Here in Tampa.
You have these indies that make their entire nut for that year in most cases.
Yeah.
Put in a really weird situation where, oh shit, we're losing half a Saturday because WrestleMania is 2 nights now. And it's one thing if they were doing it to get more stars onto the card, that way they can all get that WrestleMania payday.
Well,
but you have some
to piggyback before you go there, to piggyback off what you're saying about the weekend as a whole for indie wrestling and for all that. There was always a dearth and so many things going on at once. And during the day, like you would have Mick Foley and JR would be out there doing their one-man shows. You'd have, now you've got ad-free shows and Conrad Thompson's, productions out there doing their live podcasts and live shows and things of that nature. Plus you have all these different indies doing their shows. Tampa is a mecca for wrestling. So, certainly there's a lot of indies here. When we had WrestleMania last year, that can do different things. There's always going to be more than usual going on. Of course, you've got SmackDown on Friday. We've already got SmackDown, Rampage, and Supercard of Honor all happening pretty much at the same time Friday night. So it's the whole week leading up to it, I think. You got Raw on Monday, Dynamite on Wednesday. When is the Indies really going to have a chance to go? It's got to be during the day, no matter what. Saturday was kind of the day I guess maybe they had before, but even then you had the Hall of Fame Saturday night that everyone loved to watch.
Well, from what my recollection of it was last year, because I was fortunate enough I went to 2 GCW shows.
Okay.
Thursday, and from what I've noticed on the card, because you had things like Pancakes and Power Drivers and Effie's Big Gay Lunch and Joey Janela's Spring Break, and then Josh Barnett's Bloodsport all going on that same weekend. I went to Bloodsport on a Thursday night. All right. So now you're branching shows that are finishing later out more into the work week, which is going to create some problems in the long run. Unless, well, maybe not, because most wrestling fans are flying in from out of state because,
Sure.
It's a destination weekend.
And
then,
to be fair, branching them out and extending it a little bit earlier into the week is good for the city that it's in, because it's going to generate more revenue, more people in town, more people buying and spending things. Good for the economy of that town, for sure.
Absolutely. But, and then I went to Planet Death by GCW that Saturday morning. So you're still running the shows on Saturday, but I remember when they used to run shows late into Saturday night. Fuck, some were even running shows right up until WrestleMania started that Sunday.
Yeah.
But, now you just have to kind of find that filler time to put all your shows on.
Right. And there's still, when you've got WrestleMania access there, all during the week, and then you have the surrounding area wherever the stadium and wherever they have access and all that stuff, you're always going to have all kinds of shows running nearly 24/7 throughout the day, just to walk away from access. So I think you'll always have those indie shows, and so many of them going on at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that big of an issue, but certainly going into this, I mean, as much as we say, hey, it's all about getting more talent on the WrestleMania card, we've got, and we're about to do a WrestleMania preview. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 announced matches, including the KO show Steve Austin thing, for WrestleMania for the 2 nights. 12. And that does not include whatever might happen with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. So that's pretty stacked, even for 8 hours at minimum, that this is going to be.
I hate to say this, and this might be a very unpopular opinion, but we all know professional wrestling is, I'm not going to say fake, it's scripted.
Right.
And they want you to believe that all these dudes are badasses and larger than life, and they're legendary, like Andre the Giant. And the human Andre the Giant, from all accounts, is a legendary human being.
Yeah.
So you give him an honor, posthumous honor, of naming a battle royal after him. You're awarding somebody a statue of this legendary, larger than life human, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when you're doing something like that, it needs to live up to that person's expectations of who they were as a human. But then you're throwing a bunch of mid-carders in the ring and putting them on the start of WrestleMania, then their pre-show of WrestleMania. Now they can't even bother to put them on anything associated with WrestleMania. So we're just going to call this SmackDown WrestleMania.
Well,
you see how they're dropping the ball and it's just falling slowly and slowly every year.
Look, again, this is a promotion. You've got to promote WrestleMania. It's your biggest show of the year, and you want to spread it out. You want to tease people. You want to get people excited for WrestleMania. Here, we're going to give you this match that's normally WrestleMania, We're going to throw it on SmackDown Friday before to get you excited for all the stuff all the stuff that's coming on the actual show. Here's a little taste. Here's a little piece. We're gonna promote it as WrestleMania on Friday on SmackDown, and give you one of the WrestleMania matches here. So promotionally, it actually makes more sense to a certain degree. I can get behind it and see it.
Are they not doing the Mae Young Memorial Battle Royale this year?
I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, me neither.
I've heard nothing. Now, what do you think about Finn Balor being announced as a part of this match and him apparently not defending? We talked about this. We touched on this a little bit with the IC title talk, but not having the US title, not having Finn Balor on the Mania card, at least as of right now, when he's in a program with Damian Priest, why have him do this instead of a match on the card? Which they could still do. He could be a part of this on Friday and then still have a match, say, on Sunday for the title. But it's not announced yet.
This very well could be like that Hail Mary saving grace where maybe Damian Priest is going to screw over Finn Balor, which will lead into a match at Mania. And, time will tell. But for all intent and purpose, they really built it up like they were going to do a Damian Priest versus Finn Balor at Mania. Yeah. And now here we are where we're a week away and unsure of what's actually the full scope of that. My opinion, just let it as it is. We're at the point now where you don't have the IC title on Mania. Why put the US title on Mania? And you're pretty good at dipping two of your mid-card belts. And let's build up a program where Damian Priest's demonic side of him's really driving something home inside of Finn Balor. And then next premium live event, have it be Damian Priest versus the Demon Finn Balor.
Well, that'll be WrestleMania Backlash is probably the next event after Mania.
And possibly,
if they're still calling it, WrestleMania Backlash like they did last year.
Hell, they change up everything so often. I mean, now it's like the horror show at Extreme Rules. Now it's going to be Clown World at Backlash. It's hard to tell, man.
All right, now who do you think? Looking at what they've got promoted, who's in this here? Who do you think is going to win this thing? Certainly Finn Balor, Shelton Benjamin, and Jinder Mahal are the biggest stars on it, other than maybe R-Truth. Who do you think could win here?
You'd love to say R-Truth because he's been around for so long.
Yeah, but if
he's kind of built himself into where he is now, and you really can't take him seriously.
Sure.
I mean, although I do love when he comes out and he was like, "Oh wait, I'm not in the Rumble. All right, cool, I'm out." Like, no, that shit's hilarious to me. But
he's got his niche. He's found his nice little niche in WWE, and they love it to use him that way. So hey, power to him.
It's got to be Finn, though, right? It has to be Finn. There's no other reason why you'd put the U.S. champion in there and try and make such a big deal out of it.
I mean, they haven't used it this way. Certainly, Cesaro's not even in the company, who's the first winner.
Yeah,
but
neither is Big Show,
right?
Adam Shear,
who didn't need it. If the idea is to use this to put someone over, give them a thing to win to put them over and catapult them forward, like a little mini King of the Ring kind of deal, which they've proven this isn't that anyway, then Jinder Mahal maybe, but he's already been WWE champion. He's kind of been buried since. His run as champion wasn't all that great. Shelton Benjamin's been around forever. Yeah, there's no need to push him up. Finn Balor is a former Universal Champion, even if it was just for a day. He was the first one. Like, do you want to continue to put him over and have him win? Certainly, as probably one of the smaller guys in the match for a battle royal, maybe.
I mean,
I certainly wouldn't want him to. I mean, this is a match where it wouldn't hurt him necessarily to lose with so many people in, but.
You know,
I don't see anyone else here that the WWE would be like, oh yeah, we've got our eyes on this guy. We want him. Maybe Damian Priest.
yeah,
I
but
see
you
him
want to
up
talk
there now.
about somebody who
But
never actually got their comeuppance and needs a little bit of something to take them back to the next level. You know, you had him win the ice or the Universal Championship against Seth Rollins, and then ironically enough, that buckle bomb takes him out of action for a little while, and he hasn't even sniffed the world title since then, unless you count NXT.
yeah,
So if somebody needs it, it's going to be Finn, right? Like that's just who it has to be.
if you want to catapult him into the main event again, for sure. Though the main event's pretty stacked right now. I don't think this isn't going to help him do that. If he wins, even if he wins, it's the Memorial Battle Royal. It's not even on WrestleMania. It's on SmackDown now. So I don't know. It is what it is. It's just at this point a promotional tool. Hopefully they're still paying these guys as if it's a WrestleMania match rather than a SmackDown match. I hope.